Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back once again, or for the very first time, to the Thoughts and Crap Show, where today, as per usual, it's your host, Anjo, here with part 68 of Final Fantasy Tactics, The War of the Lions, PSP version, running on the PSTV. Hope you guys are all doing well today. And on today's episode, we are heading back to Gaug once again. It's been a bit of a long journey, and we have 2 current errands, I believe, that are underway. I believe from Golland and Lacelia. Yeah, okay. Because 6 of our party members. Anyway, they have 9 and 8 days remaining. So by the time we make it back there, since each dot is a day's journey, they'll be done. But, as a quick little aside, I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you guys for being here. And I hope you guys have been enjoying these episodes. I've definitely been enjoying making them for you guys. And on a related note, I've kind of been considering something a little bit different for the channel. If you guys have been here a while, you may be familiar already, but if you're new, I do a lot of full playthroughs here. I very rarely don't see the credits, like, to a series. Like, it's not over until we beat the game. And in the years I've been doing this channel, I've beaten a lot of games. But you guys may know, I don't usually do reviews. And, if you're wondering why, basically, I don't think there's a lot of credence to reviews. I don't usually check reviews, really, at all, because here's the thing. I prefer to go in blind to pretty much every game, and the reason for that is I don't want anything to color my expectations. Because if I have an assumption, if I have a, if I've heard other opinions that are well formulated, before I can create my own from my own impressions. Because the thing about impressions, like, it's true what they say. You only get one chance for a first impression. And if my first impression is someone else's review, then that is always going to be in my mind. I'm always going to have it, even though it wasn't me playing the game, it was like, it was my first experience with the game, if that makes sense. So I feel like if I was going to do reviews, like, and again, only for games I've beaten, like recently too. So as an example, I've been considering doing a review for Tales of Zestiria because I recently finished the game in that series a while ago. I believe the last episode was like January 3rd, I want to say, which was the time I was like very sick, but I had that series finished in December. And so for me, because I'm recording this about a week in advance, it's been about a month since I've played that game. And it's almost too far past the window of like having the full experience of the game, because I've been able to ruminate on it and I haven't had my hands on it in like about 4 weeks. So already I feel like my overall thoughts and conclusion on the game are a little bit... what's a good way to put this? A little bit distorted because of my own opinion. Because my own opinion is kind of inescapable. And that's true with anybody that interacts with any kind of art. Like, and that's the thing, that's one of the definitions of an art form, is like it's supposed to make you feel something. It's supposed to make you have an opinion. It's supposed to impress upon you. And so it's up to the observer. And then when something is observed many, many, many times, then that's when we get a cultural consensus in a way. Which back in the day, I mean, that's mostly how it works nowadays. Back in the day, it was kind of empirically decided if you were an artist or whatever. Like, I believe it was like Mozart and Beethoven and stuff, they were like chosen musicians by like the emperor at the time or whatever, and like, they're like, okay, this is good, you are an artist. Like, nowadays it's more it's very different nowadays, but and everybody, it's so much easier to, like, everybody's sharing their opinions too, so like it's different in the age of the internet, right? So, but I feel like there's the reason why I'm considering it is because nowadays there are so many options, and I've talked about this fairly recently, like, well, to you guys it's gonna be like, what, maybe like 2 weeks ago, but in the second week of January, I tried out the Grand Blue Fantasy demo, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, and on a couple of those streams I was joined by, well, on one of them I was just joined by BG9K, Big Gamer 9000, we've shouted him out before, great channel, go check it out. On the other one, I was joined by him and another YouTube friend of mine, SAG Gaming, and also fantastic stuff, go check it out. And we had a great little discussion. Like, I was pretty tired for that stream and very tired for the other stream. I really only had energy for the first one, but within a couple days I did like 3 streams. One just by myself, which I kind of prefer for the first one, just so I can... Well, I still had my opinions kind of influenced. There we go. Why couldn't I think of that word earlier? By other opinions, but still, I was able to have my own time with it. And so I kind of decided, right? But the point that we brought up and talked about, I'm just gonna get going to the thing. I don't know if Lionel's gonna have anything. But the main point that came up that I thought was very important is 2024 is going to be a stacked year. Like, we already know. There's projects we don't know about, if they're coming this year or not. And things that we can pretty safely assume are coming this year, but we don't have a date on them yet. Like, I don't know, Hollow Knight Silksong comes to mind. I would be genuinely surprised if it doesn't come out this year. But, like, we were just counting the big games towards the end of the 3rd stream. That we already know about, that are like going to be a big deal. And we counted 15 in the first half of 2024. And I was just like, oh my goodness, these are all errands. Wow. Okay. I might have to send... Do I have enough? I don't have enough people. I only have 2 extras, right? You got Emmett, Lavian. Yeah, Emmett and Lavian. That's it. Okay. Oh, the other chocobo hatched. Level 38? So their level is just random, huh? Okay, I guess I can dismiss this one. And even in a year that's like not like 2024, because granted, like 2020, 2021, 2022, the pandemic definitely affected the output of titles. A lot of things got delayed, so some of those things that did get delayed, those projects are finishing, and there's a lot of things to choose from. And I tell people, like, all the time, like, I'm much more vocal about retro games that are, like, still available. Like, this game, for example. If you have PS3 or PS Vita, which actually I'm not even sure on the PS3 store if you can acquire PSP games, but definitely on the Vita. Like, the store is still open. Like, thankfully, there's an outcry of very disappointed fans. And so, yeah, we narrowly avoided the PS3 and Vita stores closing. And that was kind of one of those Jim Ryan, like, wow, I can't believe he actually did that kind of a thing. But dude is retiring. Like, Jim Ryan's I think he's retiring this year, pretty soon, actually. So somebody else is going to be in charge of PlayStation, like, pretty soon. If not already. And I hope whoever it is like very adamant about preserving the legacy of like PlayStation games like PS1, PS2, PSP. A lot of the earlier stuff that is honestly hard to come by, because when it comes to retro stuff, the resellers market is ridiculous. It's terrible. And it's just money for the resellers. Like, you're not actually supporting the developers or the publisher of the game in any sense. Like, sometimes maybe a local store at the very best, like if you have a retro game store that's like near you or something, but for the most part, it doesn't help keep those companies alive. You're not supporting it anymore. Like, at least in this way, I would assume, since like PlayStation Store, like, you know, stuff is, they have all kinds of stuff, like from Namco and Bandai Namco, Square Enix, Nihon Falcom, like tons of different companies that make games. And if you get it officially, like on those platforms, a portion of it still goes to them. And enough sales retroactively will make a difference. Or can make a difference. I'm not going to say will necessarily, because, you know, things still happen, and, you know, that kind of go against whatever. Doesn't matter. Like, for example, even though people loved Red Dead Redemption 2, like some of the DLC got canceled in favor for GTA Online because that made more money for Rockstar. Yay. And like, anyway, there is a point to this rant. So reviews for retro games can help, because in a year like 2024, when there's so many new great games coming out that people are excited about, why would you hop on a platform that's a decade old to pick up a game that may be like 20 years old? Does it make sense? And yeah, there's a sense of artificial urgency that can come there, like for the 3DS and the Wii U shops when we knew they were closing. And people are like, oh, you better go on there and, you know, buy whatever virtual console games you want, because you're not going to be able to pretty soon. Yeah, and there was a push kind of like that with the PS3 and the Vita, where it was the same thing. And so some people, myself included, went on there and picked up some stuff that they've had their eyes on for a while, but then didn't think there was any urgency to pull the trigger, right? So, and it's not just about that FOMO, like the fear of missing out, or you know, I guess it comes down to that for sure. But like, is it worth the time, you know, to play these retro games? Is it worth? Because like, essentially, there's a finite amount of time in a day. You know, if you have a couple hours for gaming, are you gonna want to play that brand new thing, or are you gonna want to maybe play something that's older that you haven't played before, but you've always heard good things about. And like, I run into that a lot too. Like, there's a lot of retro stuff that is still on my bucket list. Like, that eventually I would like to play, like Snatcher. I've never played that before. There's still some Fire Emblem games that I own that I haven't played. Tales of the Abyss for the PlayStation 2. I've had that game for a long time and I've never beaten it. There's on almost every platform I still have a backlog of stuff. It's like, oh man, I picked this up. Still haven't played it. And kind of especially on the Wii U too, because honestly, I don't really like the Wii U very much as a platform. There's like some design stuff that I really, really, really don't like, and you can't use wired controllers. That's a huge, huge negative for me. Like, even the PS TV, I love the PS TV, but you have to use a DualShock 3 or 4. I'm not a fan. And like input, like the DualShock 4 I do like a lot better than the DualSense, but it's still a Bluetooth controller, and I'm not a fan of that. Point being, yes. The short answer is yes. Like, there's a reason I'm doing this game, and kind of like covering everything that it has to offer, and like doing the voice acting and the, you know, here's the mechanics for this and this, and like your different roster, your different job classes, all these characters, like, you know, focusing on the story. This is a fantastic game that is 100% worth your time, and better than a lot of modern shit that comes out. And that's the point, because there's this incorrect notion that I wouldn't say is prevalent, but I've seen it a lot online, not just like outspokenly, but there's this underlying belief that a lot of people have, where just because a game is older means that in some ways it's inferior. And a lot of people won't say it because of backlash, but there is the assumption. And I see this attitude a lot. So, but again, it's like an opinion, but at the same time, you gotta, just last part of the rant here, you gotta remember the developers, right? There was a lot of people in the video game industry in the early days that aren't really making games anymore, or in creative positions at those companies anymore. And, you know, due to restructuring and acquisitions and all this other stuff and blah blah blah, they may have been at their peak in the 90s, or the 80s, or the 70s. And that's when they made these things. And so modern games nowadays are not being made by the same people, because that was like 20 or 30 years ago. Or if it is, they just don't have the same resources or the same capacity or the same, you know, so because this game was made by some legends, okay? A lot of them are still working in the video game industry, but they're spread out. Like Square in the 90s is not the same as Square Enix nowadays. Like, period. It's not. And even one of the heads of the Final Fantasy 16 project recently talked about in an interview that, like, Final Fantasy 17 might need to be made by some, like, new people. Which, yeah, I mean, eventually you have to pass the torch and kind of like, you know, teach and nurture that younger generation that's like hungry to make stuff. And like, you kind of had that. Anyway, examples, blah blah blah, opinion, conjecture. Retro games are great. Not all of them, obviously, but some of them are really, really good. And so that's why I feel like doing a review every so often for something that may be a little bit older would be helpful, because a lot of it comes down to, does it hold up? Is it something, oh, I played this in 2024, like, you know, is it any good? You know, but just like a straight, no frills thing, because just a lot of people assume, don't bother, because it's 20 years old. You know, that was made in the 90s, who cares? Which is not really... It's a shame. It really is. And that's part of the reason I do Retro Classics, this segment, in the first place. In the morning slot, like, when you usually... You know, that's when you put out the bangers. I'm like, that's when I put out the retro stuff, because I have love for that kind of thing. And not just because I have love for that kind of thing, it's just there are so many retro games I haven't played, or I haven't fully done a deep dive in quite some time. And anyway, that's my point. So I've been thinking about doing just whenever I beat something, do a review on the game. Nothing like super, this is, you know, this is how good this thing actually is, and you should listen to this opinion, and blah 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 blah. No, it would be very casual, just like, this is an opinion, it's my opinion. If you disagree, don't worry about it, it's fine. This is for people, like, maybe curious about playing this. And I just recently beat it, so I have a lot of thoughts and reactions and opinions and conclusions and analyses. And I usually like, I don't know, to share those with people. And usually I just share those opinions with people that I know well, like individually. And I'm like, yo, I just finished this, blah blah blah, it's freaking great, you should definitely play it. And hopefully those opinions get heard, and, you know, I have influenced some people into playing some stuff that they wouldn't have played before. And I feel pretty proud of that on a small scale, but I was like, I have a YouTube channel. Why don't I just put it out there instead of just telling a few people individually, you know? Like, if people want to search it, you know, they'll be like, oh, I'm curious about this game. Let's see if there's any reviews on YouTube. Oh, here's one. All of these are from like 10 years ago, except this one, which was like this year. What the hell? Because that's I ran into that recently where I was trying to find a review for something. Headphones, specifically, because I'm very happy with my headphones, but I always have a backup pair, and I don't have a backup pair anymore, so I've been looking for a new daily driver or a solid backup for when these finally bite the bucket. Bite the bite the dust, kick the bucket, buy the farm. There we go. Those idioms are valid. Bite the bucket. I'm gonna start saying that. That's so dumb. What is biting the bucket? When these finally kick the farm. Buy the dust. Yeah, bite the bucket is my favorite. Conflation? Conflated? Conflate. Conflation? Can you turn conflate into a noun like that? I just did. Anyway, it's like confused, but specifically when you confuse one thing for another thing. So a lot of people say... Damn it, what is the example I was gonna say? A lot of people conflate Puzzle Bobble for Bust a Move. Or is it Bubble Bobble? See, it's so commonly conflated, like... Or... What's another good example? I can't think of another good example right now. I mean, there's a few, but I would definitely get the details wrong, which is... conflating an example of conflation, yeah, basically. So anyway, that's my point. I'm thinking about doing it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do reviews for stuff that I beat. And definitely not for every game, and there's definitely games that I haven't had hands on for a while that I wouldn't do anymore, because the thing is, it would have to be shortly after I finish something to like have to remember everything correctly and clearly, and not have my post finishing the game opinions influencing what it actually is. Because those rose-colored glasses, guys, they come on real quick. So... Oh, we got there without a single fight. Wow. Anyway, so if that's something you guys want to see, definitely leave it in the comments. Let me know your opinions on if you want more of my opinions about games that I beat. But, also, if you're curious on more on why I don't really like doing reviews, there's this great channel that you guys maybe, if you're here, you probably know about it, called Arlo, A-R-L-O. Basically, he's a little Cookie Monster looking caricature that talks about video game stuff, a lot of Nintendo stuff specifically. But he used to do reviews like a lot more often, and then at one point he made this video that says like, I probably won't do reviews anymore, and kind of explains why. And and I kind of agree, because it used to be very analytical and honestly just like raw, unbridled opinions, both positive and negative. But and also like review scores. In fact, it might have been called review scores are stupid, and here's why. Which is also an opinion and a review of something, which is kind of funny. But anyway, I don't remember what the fuck these guys sounded like, so. Will the stone truly bring the sphere? Will the stone truly bring the sphere to life? Young Michael Caine. Will the stone truly bring the sphere to life? You saw as much with your own eyes, did you not? Man, this guy is not very organized. Like, I feel like if you're a scientist in a fantasy game, you just have papers strewn all over your place. You were right, it stirs. Kick-ass mode activated. Is that all? Must no longer be operational. But what? I wasn't too far off. Initialization complete. All systems normal. What is your command, Master? By the gods, the machine speaks. Awaiting your command, Master. Give it a command, Ramza. Me? Must I? Mayhap you could. What are you talking about? You're the thing's master. Repeat, awaiting command. Very well. Dance. Oh, what would you have it do? It knows how to dance. It's dancing. I wonder how powerful this thing is. I am very strong. Well then, dispose of Mustadio. I was kind of expecting Mustadio to be like, kill Ramza. Oh, for... Oh shit. I was like, what if he was actually successful? Mustadio just like explodes into like thousands of pieces of viscera. His dad's like, I guess it's hey Ramza, you wanna be my son? Oh no, Phoenix Down, where's the Phoenix Down? That's pretty funny though. Construct 8, Automaton. Sure. I never use them, to be honest. But anyway, so that's actually the end of the Haunted Mine quest. So, yeah, so there's no further parts for that. And as I mentioned in the previous episode, which, you know, sorry guys, I know Uncle Danjo had a bit of a rant about different opinions on retro games and shit for the 3 millionth time. But it's all good. Hope you guys... I don't know. I don't really... Every so often I like to kind of explain my opinion on something. Because again, it's kind of impossible to not have an opinion, you know? But yeah, we gotta get some of our guys back, so we gotta go to Golland. I should definitely check what the limit is as far as the roster. think this is the final line, so I'm pretty sure it's 25. So I think I'm gonna have to let some people go. I'm honestly probably gonna get rid of the chocobos, because I don't really want to get rid of my guys. I might get rid of Construct 8, but like I'm gonna have to get another pig, and in order for them to breed and then get the rare types like I did for the chocobos to get like red and black chocobos. But honestly, I don't really need the chocobos anymore, and we're hitting the limit of how many people I can have in the party, so yeah. Probably gonna have to do that. In fact, preemptively, I might do that now. No, I'll look it up. So I'll do that in between episodes. I'll find out what the limit is on party size, and on the next episode, I'm probably gonna just let the chocobos go. Seems like a nice coastal place for them to live anyway. And yeah, we'll head back to Golland and Lacelia, get our guys back, send them back off on a couple more errands, and head to Dagura Pass. So but yeah, it's gonna be it. If I do last quick little thing on this, because we do have to get going. If I do end up doing reviews, I'm not just gonna like put a bunch of them on the channel like immediately for stuff that I finished a while back, like Mega Man Legends, for example. Plus, I didn't really do the entirety of Mega Man Legends, because there's Mega Man 64, there's the Misadventures of Tron Bonne, and I didn't play those two. Although Mega Man 64 is just a port of the first Mega Man Legends game basically to the N64, I don't think there's anything substantially different to it. But still, it's been a few months since I beat Mega Man Legends 2. And longer still since the first one. So, I don't know. I would not be as... It would be subjective, obviously, but I wouldn't be as objective as I would be, or even that familiar as I would be, if I had done the review, like, right after finishing the game. Because even then, things would be fresh in my mind. I'd have a lot more ideas to like write down for like the script for the review, which honestly I don't think I would write like a 1-to-1 script, because I don't usually do that, because there's a lack of like authenticity there, honestly. And I do like written reviews, so if you're gonna write a review, just write the review. Like, again, I mean, kinda... It depends on your style. It really does. Some people, they like need a script. Personally, I've always been kind of an improv guy, so like, I write notes, and like it helps for me if I have like a structure for specific points and topics and subtopics. Anyway, it's not that it hugely matters, but anyway, the only one I'd be doing in the immediate future would be Tales of Zestiria. Maybe Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn, but it's been a while since I've done that. And I would probably avoid more recent games, to be honest, just because with how game releases are nowadays, like you really have to wait like quite some time, because there could be like an update that like changes everything, and then later you would have to update it, because then people would assume it was reflecting the most recent version unless you clarified that it was for this version, and then it's made obsolete. So it's kind of rough. So if you want to say something definitively, again, you have to wait. Like I'm not gonna do like a Cyberpunk review because like people thought Cyberpunk 2077, the 2.1 update, was gonna be the final update. Turns out it's not. So it's like, okay, well, looks like I still can't formulate an opinion because they keep changing it. So, which, it's kind of my favorite time to formulate an opinion. That's why usually for a series, I wait a good amount of time till after, because like a lot of stuff on release, if I'm excited about it, like I'll stream it, because like that's in the moment, that's at the time. It doesn't matter if it's finished because it doesn't have to be. But to do a full series on something, yeah, I usually like to wait until all the major updates are done, the DLC is out, all that stuff. Like, I'm only now doing Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition because, yeah, the expansion's out, all the updates are basically done. It's pretty much in its final state. So by the time I finish the series, unless we get some super surprise announcement from Guerrilla Games, that's how the game is going to be going forward. So, but yeah, like this game is not going to get an update. Like the PSP version of Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions, no. This is in its final state. Like, this was still, like, the PSP in a way is kind of special to me because it marked the end of an era. That era being games released in their final state, and any bugs are just in the game. Like, they're not going to patch stuff out. Like, they started doing DLC. Like, certain PSP games did have DLC, but it was like usually very small stuff because Wi-Fi speeds were slow. You had to like store it on the memory stick. Duo. It was very few and far between. But you know, once systems with online functionality became more of a normal thing, yeah, all that went out the window, which is both good and bad. Like, honestly, I like having, now that I've seen how some developers approach it, I prefer the modern approach of like just get it out to people and then not fix it later necessarily, but you can add stuff to it, like keep the player base involved, keep adding stuff, fixing stuff, refining stuff. Because, I don't know, it encourages an active community, and I think that's really cool. Anyway, thank you all for being here, guys. Greatly appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed. And of course, before we get going, a very special thank you going out to the current Farts and Crap Show members, which at the time of recording is the one and only Novellis Draconis. Thank you so much for choosing to support the show a bit more directly. Greatly helps out. Greatly appreciate it. And if you guys want to be incredibly awesome like Novellis Draconis and get in on all of those membership benefits, check out the join button down below. Tier start at $3 a month. It's only 10 cents a day. It gets you into all the basic stuff, including getting to vote on the series that get made here on the channel via the members' choice polls. It's a thing we do once a month where the channel members can vote on a poll that will determine a future series that will get made, usually in the immediate future. However, I don't know when the next series is going to be here on the channel because this series is far from over, and none of the series are close, basically. I know it doesn't help a whole lot with this series specifically because on this episode I made very little progress because I wanted to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart, and also kind of just potentially throw out some ideas there for new content to be made in the future, which I did say. Put it in the comments if you guys have an opinion on this. Which I could have put that as members' choice poll and left it up to the members. But when deciding future content stuff here on the channel as far as structure goes, I usually make those calls. Like, I don't want, like, there's certain things for variety, like those get left up to the members. As far as structure goes, I like the schedule and stuff a specific way, and you know, you can only do so much. So finding the balance there and being able to deliver on what you set out to do is tantamount? Is that the word? It's very important to me. So anyway, but and for the structure of the show, like, yes, it's very important to that. So but yeah, the members' choice polls, they last for a full 7 days. It's once a month, so technically we have won 25% of the time. And usually when they're done and the votes are tallied, the poll is left open. So even if you become a member retroactively, you can still go to the membership tab and vote on the previous members' choice polls that you've missed out on. That input will still be considered for future members' choice polls if something gets a bunch of votes retroactively. And so far we haven't had a lot of repeats for options on those members' choice polls. So there is a good chance for that, and your input would be very much appreciated. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today. Once again, folks, thank you all for being here. Till next time, take care, and I hope you all have a splendiferous day.